think that's the beautiful part of where we are with the industry right now, because I believe a lot of the reasons why there was so much mystery with artists back in the day was because the labels were the ones who were dictating what their brand was. So it's impossible to be consistent with that if it's not authentic to who you are. And we've seen that a lot of times with artists like, Whitney Houston, for example, as we learn more about her actual story and how that led to her mental health declining.
I truly believe that in order to have success in business, you have to heal yourself. To the ultimate success. Yeah, you can get started and you can make some money, but for you to continually do it, have the consistency, to be happy, to feel whole, to feel fulfilled, you have to heal all parts of yourself. Welcome to the Let There Be Art Podcast. I'm your host, Devin Mykel, along with my co-host and multi-talented beautiful wife, Jade Novah, who's an amazing singer, songwriter, and actress who's been featured on The Simpsons and That's My Jam, and has been streamed and viewed over 150 million times as a fully independent artist. I'm a music producer, musical director, and composer, and have worked with artists such as Rihanna, Lizzo, and Stevie Wonder, to name a few. Jade and I are both industry veterans of over 15 years, and we started the Let There Be Art podcast to teach and inspire people in our community to build sustainable careers as independent creators from a holistic perspective that focuses on the mind, body, and soul. So yeah, we're here for our first episode of the Let There Be Art podcast. So excited to finally be rolling this out. We've had so many experiences in this industry that have molded and shaped us into the musicians and creators we are today. And it is our responsibility to give that back. It is something we've been talking about for a long time now, and being able to share our knowledge as independent artists and doing all the things that I just said in our intro, and taking that knowledge, applying it to our careers, and ultimately being able to give that knowledge to you guys through our eBooks, courses, and coaching. So, let's jump in.
Like you said, we've been talking about doing this for a really, really long time. And I'm grateful that we waited until we did, because I feel like we've been able to exist and figure things out and then thrive in a lot of different spaces within this industry. And just working with you has definitely shifted the way that I look at how to build a successful career. You know, we've both come from different spaces in the industry with different intentions, but in working together, just learning how it isn't just the music alone that has given us success. I mean, that's what we started doing. That's what we both love and are passionate about. But just all these different parts of the industry and then different spaces and roles that we can exist within that industry that just help feed, all parts of that business. Yeah. So, you really taught me how to reshift my mindset as far as what it is to be a successful artist, and just really how to capitalize and take up space in all the ways that make you unique, and just really look at it more like how a major company would look at their brand, right? Like a brand. We see that with artists on larger scales as well. And I know but consumers or fans of someone like a Rihanna can get frustrated when they're like, why are you making this? And why are you, doing a makeup line and doing this? Like, we want the album and all that. And not really understanding that when it comes to this industry, music alone isn't enough.
Yeah, it never has been.
Yeah, it never has been. So taking that same model of what we've all seen these major artists do, from Jay-Z to Rihanna to Kanye to everyone, Beyonce, but looking at that for ourselves as independent creatives too. Yeah. And I think it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm grateful to do this with you and just share our journey with everybody.
Yeah, it has been beautiful. And just to see you do all the things you're doing, yes, starting out as a singer, but going into your comedy and your acting, like I mentioned, The Simpsons and That's My Jam, and then me coming as a producer and going into arranging for different award shows, BET Awards, Grammys, Emmys, me doing American Idol, you on the 4 as a mentor to these other singers, up and coming singers who are trying to reach their dreams, has just given us a world of experience in different ways of looking at this business, not just as, you know, two people trying to make it in the music industry, but full, well-rounded creators who know what they want, that are expressing all the different parts of themselves. You with your album, Where Have I Been, talking about astrology, talking about your inner child healing, doing the yoga and the sound bowls, all of it coming together to be who you are. So people aren't just connecting with your music, but they're connecting with you as a person. They're saying, okay, well, yeah, I love all these other artists, but there's just something about Jade and her comedy and her self-care and her music that in all this, you know, coming together is what really makes me connect with her. So that is what we teach in our business, and that's our approach to teaching creators how to build their businesses. So we're going to get into our clip of the week. Every week we'll have a story that we weigh in on from our holistic perspective, and this week we have Money Long talking about her separation from her longtime partner of 9 years.
I've been married for 9 years, and it just didn't work out. You know, it's like, again, like what I was saying, I don't have time for drama. I don't have time for nonsense. This is one of the most amazing times in my life. And if you can't celebrate that with me, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to leave you behind. Like, I cannot.
Right. I gotta
you know what I'm
here.
saying?
This is where we depart.
Like, you wake up every day mad. There's literally nothing to be upset about.
Yeah.
Like, we have a beautiful child. We're good. Like, we might owe some bills, but everybody has that.
Everyone.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you want to talk
everything
to my wife?
is good.
There's a few things wrong on this side.
Yeah, and I think also too, like, I think it takes incredible strength to realize, like, this was the love of my life at one point, and he probably could be really good for me if he got it together, but I'm not willing to put my life and my passion and my happiness on hold for you to catch up.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, you might get it in a year, but, sorry, I'm probably already
Well,
over it.
with men, we take a little longer maturing. So I want to apologize.
I think what a more powerful lesson for you to learn. having have you ever heard of the story Acres of Diamonds?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes.
you have acres of diamonds underneath your feet and you sold it to go and look for something else.
Yeah.
And then somebody else came and they enjoyed the land that you didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate to hear, first of all. So definitely want to empathize. 9 years is a long time. We're actually coming up on 9 years of marriage. We've been together for almost 13 years total.
Yeah.
Just past 12 years total. So yeah, that is a really long time to be together and have to make that decision.
And I do want to mention, if you don't know, that they have a label together, Money and her husband.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, I didn't know, but
It's
I just
all
wanted to. That's what I was going to preface this clip with that. They work together. They've collaborated on music together as well. He's a producer,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken. So that's the reason why this clip kind of hit home for us, because we are a married couple as well. We're, like you said, coming up on 9 years, very similar. We've been together for the same length of time, and the fact that we collaborate together and we have a label together.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's something that can truly be empathized with, navigating that. And we have a son, one son together. Like, there's so many parallels. So I can truly empathize with how difficult that must be for her to come to that decision.
Yeah.
After being in partnership with someone that you work with for so long. Yeah.
That's a tough one. Relationships are a thing where, at what point do you keep fighting? And at what point is it, is it just too much to endure, especially when you're talking about, someone being, mad or upset every day. We don't have all the information to weigh in on that properly. But I guess my question for you is, like, when to keep fighting versus it's time to let this pass and take it as a season that we were in, that I can learn from and move on with my life.
You said when?
Yeah, I guess, like, what is that tipping point?
I mean, I feel like it's different for everyone. I think.
Well, I mean, yeah, in your opinion, and you know, especially coming from a situation like this where you can relate very closely to having to undo business ties and you know, a child in the middle of it, and you know.
Yeah, that's why what I was saying earlier, like it's really difficult. And I know you're saying just from my perspective, but as far as our dynamic, that's why I said it must be a very difficult decision that she came to, because I understand the duality of not just being in romantic partnership with you, but also having this label and having these things together and understanding how difficult that would be to undo.
Right.
You know, so look, it would take a lot of consistently doing wrong and disrespecting me for me to have to reach that breaking point.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't feel like that's where we've ever been to truly relate. But
yeah, and you know, because we're big advocates of you know, building family business, and building generational wealth, and something that, you know, that legacy that we can continue to pass on to our kids and grandchildren. So yeah, it's a hard one for me, because I really believe that you should stay and fight through you know, a marriage or a relationship that you think, you know, is going to work or adds value to your life. So I think it's, for me, at the point where it's no longer adding value and is taking you towards your lower self, or you know, your drained life, as we call it in our program, you know, versus taking you to your higher self or your charged life, and you know, in our world. So.
But see, that's a difficult thing too, because there's ebbs and flows within any relationship, and it's like that responsibility isn't always and shouldn't solely be on your partner. You know, and I think in the clip she mentioned, you know, that he would wake up upset, and it's like, what is there to be upset about? And I don't, again, because I don't know things, it is a very difficult thing to comment on. But I know what it feels like to be depressed. I know what it feels like to not be in having a charged life. And you being able to support me in the best way that you can, and also give me the space to seek help elsewhere, because it is not just the responsibility of our partner. It isn't the responsibility of our partner at all, honestly, to provide happiness, because then that means that it's situational and that you're depending on them to be whatever it is you want them to be in order to show up as a better version of yourself. And I think that is not a good expectation to go into any relationship, to expect anyone to be that for you. No, go ahead.
So is the other person supposed to be there to support you through that? And how should you support someone through those things? If, you know, again, we can't really speak on their situation, but yeah, that because we both had to do that for each other. It's like you know, when one person can only give you 20%, sometimes you got to kick in that 80, and understanding that the things that they're going through isn't personal. It is not something that is a reflection of you. It's sometimes just a reflection of things that they haven't dealt with. And how much grace and time do we give to that, understanding that to that person, so they can work through their stuff and ultimately come back as a fuller individual, so they can give, you know, their portion of it and be, you know, closer to 100%.
I can speak to that now. And honestly, this will better answer the question you asked me before. If you're going through something and you're expecting me to solely be the answer to that problem, that's the issue for me. And from what it sounds like, again, all we can do is infer. But if there's a situation where you're down, you're depressed, you're not showing up as your best self, and I'm healed and committed to my healing and doing whatever work is necessary to be that way, and you're choosing not to seek help, then that becomes an issue where I can no longer stay in a situation just because that's what society or religion or whatever thing that the person decides on for their life is reiterating to me. Like, no, if I cannot drag you out and weekend at Bernie's you for years and years. You have to to do what you got to do to get there.
Yeah.
So I think that's the changing point for me, is if I'm more invested in your healing than you are in your own.
Yeah, big facts. I completely agree. You know, at the end of the day, everything that we go through, it is an inside job. Even the things that make us upset about other people, it is a mirror for us to look back at ourselves and look inside to see why we are attracting that, and what changes we need to make in order for us to get through that. So yeah, and that is a big part of our program as well. And what we're offering with Let There Be Art is again, it's a holistic perspective. It is mind, body, and soul. And I truly believe that in order to have success in business, you have to heal yourself. To the ultimate success. Yeah, you can get started and you can make some money. But for you to continually do it, have the consistency, to be happy, to feel whole, to feel fulfilled, you have to heal all parts of yourself, and do the inner child work, heal the traumas, be open and vulnerable with the people in your lives, communicate, all those things, eat healthier, have a self-care routine, all of those things go into making a whole human being, I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, to bring it on home, that's what's necessary to make a marriage work, to make any kind of, to make you work on an individual level, but then also in the way that you show up with anything that you do. It's necessary for you to do that individual work. And
business relationships, your kids.
Yep. And lucky for us, because the crazy thing is, we are completely different people now than we were when we first got married. And I can totally imagine that that's also the case for Money and her partner. Yep. That's a really long time. Yeah. And we're around the same age as well. So that's that pivotal time of, just becoming an adult to becoming, someone who's grown. And it's a lot of changes in that part of your life. But luckily for us, we kind of evolved and shifted on very, very similar frequencies. Yep. Like, we changed our diets at the exact same time. We both went plant-based on the same day. Yep. It wasn't a thing of like, oh, would you like to go plant-based with me? Oh yeah, maybe. No, we just both were there at the exact same time. We both wanted to move to LA at the same time. We you know what I mean? So we have a very rare instance of us both being committed to our healing simultaneously. But unfortunately, for many people, that's not the case. Yeah. And if you're not willing to do that work to catch up to that person, and like she mentioned, I'm happy, ain't nothing to worry about, I'm good, I'm vibing high. You have to be willing to match that energy, or it don't work.
Yeah. The further away those frequencies get from each other, they start to repel. I think the closer they are, you can pull the other one up. But once you get all that space in between, you start to repel. You feel those differences a lot more than when that person who is starting to come into their charged self was lower, and you stay stagnant. And
literally learning about this in sound healing right now.
Yes, it is so true. And I've witnessed that with friends and people in my past, and family members, everything. So ultimately it's about purpose. I think that's what takes you towards your charged life, is understanding that you have something that's bigger than you. Who do I want to be? Do I have a goal at the end of this? And that's what I find the commonality between all the people that I've talked to who have had, some success or not much success, but they feel stagnant because they don't have a goal attached to it to make them see their decisions through the lens of, am I getting closer to that goal? So if you don't have that goal or that purpose, you're not going to look at the things that you do as something that is hindering you. Drinking won't be a hindrance if you have no goals at the end of the day to say, okay, I needed to get X, Y, and Z done this week, and now I understand, because I have those goals, that drinking or the eating bad or sleeping in and staying up super late is now taking away from those things, because I don't feel like my best self and I don't have the energy to do those things. So yeah, it all comes back to purpose. And that's the only way you can be fulfilled.
Ashe. Well, just sending money, love, money long, all the love.
Yes.
Both
of them.
Yeah, because we never know. You never know what people are going through. I think it's beautiful. I think she made a song. I haven't heard the song. I'm gonna have to listen to it, but I'm pretty sure, like in that interview, she was talking about a song that she wrote, right, that was related to that situation. Anytime you can transmute that pain into a piece of art, you know, that's a beautiful thing. But just sending her love, and him, and their beautiful child.
And I mean, you can definitely relate to that transmuting, like I just talked about your album, Where Have I Been, and being able to transmute, you know, parts of your life and your childhood into an album that has helped so many people through things that they're going through and haven't had the time to reflect on by hearing your story. And you know, that's also a big part of what we teach here at Let There Be Art, is not niching down. Being open and full with who you are and the things that are authentic for you in your life. And I love the fact that you have been so open and vulnerable, because I've seen your journey and how that was something that was you know, you were nervous about early on in your career, about how much of myself do I share, because we've seen so many artists just kind of sit behind the camera and we only see them on the music videos. We don't get to connect with those people. So that's a big thing for me. And what I would encourage our listeners to do is to not niche down in your business, and to really take up all the space and all the different things that you love and things that you want to talk about, that can be a part of your brand just as much as your main thing.
And I think that's the beautiful part of where we are with the industry right now, because I believe a lot of the reasons why there was so much mystery with artists back in the day was because the labels were the ones who were dictating what their brand was. So it's impossible to be consistent with that if it's not authentic to who you are. And we've seen that a lot of times with artists like, I mean, Whitney Houston, for example, as we learn more about her actual story and how that led to her mental health declining, because there is, like you said, it's beautiful. Like, it's a direct correlation between your authenticity being charged and being able to show up fully in your truth and your art and your relationships and everything you do. It's a trickle. It just has that ripple effect if you don't. And so I think a lot of those artists from that generation dealt with a lot of mental health issues because of that disconnect of their authenticity and how the labels wanted them to show up. They wanted her to be the girl next door, but she was questioning her sexuality, and they wanted her to be this prim and proper, you know, pageant queen, and she came from, you know, the streets of Jersey, and like it didn't make sense. So of course they want to keep her, don't say too much, because you're going to give away who you actually are, which I think would have made us love her even more.
Yeah, we would have felt it in the music. And I think that was a big thing, you know, because they were putting her in with, you know, David Foster and some of these other writers and producers. And I think we would have got a whole nother side of Whitney, because, you know, that was a big thing where black people was like, yeah, you can sing, but like you're doing stuff that like we don't necessarily connect with, or it may not be as authentic to your voice. And I can definitely understand, you know, that perspective as a musician, and knowing all that she can do, and her range was so wide, as coming from gospel music and all the things that I'm sure that she wanted to stretch into. That, you know, she was put in this box. And we don't believe in boxes here at Let There Be Art. Like, take up all the space and all the different things that you want to do. Like, sonically, we've been all over the place with the things that we want to do. And that's why I love being independent, is so I can continue to evolve and grow and learn and shapeshift into something else. Like, like you said, we're nothing like we were 13 years ago. Like, we've gone through so many, you know, changes and metamorphoses over that time. And that is ultimately what being a creator is that I'm going to keep learning my way into different parts of myself. We talk about Terrence Howard all the time, and just seeing his trajectory, and just like, no, I'm not just an actor. I want to learn about all these different things. And now this is a whole nother career field that I can step into and still do my acting and still be cool and still, you know, do all the things.
Yeah, I can't wait for our society to get out of that mindset of thinking like, oh, you're really, really good at this one thing, so you can't also be really, really good at this other thing. You know, like even with music and comedy or all the different things that we're trying to balance within our individual brands, you know, it being confusing, like, wait, you do this, but then you do that. Like, well, which one is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this new era that we're in, and I think that what we're building with our company is a true reflection of where we finally are as an industry and just as a society of just wanting people to be more authentic and more transparent.
I really think we need to take a deeper look at, you know, what we can give as business owners, creators, entrepreneurs. A lot of times, you know, social media has given us this, you know, promote, advertise mentality, and we're always looking for, you know, for what we can get. And I think at me as a consumer, I can feel that versus the people who actually give me value in the things that they're doing, and they're not always selling to me. You know, I'm much more willing to go and you know, buy from them than someone who is constantly just being in, you know, kind of that artist state that we were talking about before. I only do my music videos. I'm on, you know, I'm only promoting when I'm selling my albums. And yeah, versus an artist like you know, with Where Have I Been, who's willing to tell their story, who's willing to give me a free ebook, you know, talking about you know your journey and giving me journal prompts, and so I can work through my stuff as well. So yeah, I just think we have to get, you know, back to that, and you know that even goes back to how I look at it with chakras. If your root, the bottom three chakras, your root, sacral, and solar plexus aren't charged up, and you're not charged up to your heart chakra, you can only be in a receiving state versus a giving state, which is, you know, the chakras above the heart chakras. And yeah, that's why I really think that we thrive as human beings and as creators. So yeah, I really hope we can get there as a society, as creators, to really focus on what we can give, and you know, that's where we are when we're in those depressive states, when we do wake up mad, you know, to kick it back to Money and her husband. So I hope, you know, I think his name is Shan. I hope he does get that opportunity to heal. Yeah, because you know that's what it seems like, you know, needs to happen, so he can give back to his family.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And honestly, though, I think for some people it's difficult to heal in partnership. And you know, that's not the case for everyone, but it is difficult sometimes. Sometimes you need to be alone, or you need to have that event that becomes the catalyst for your change, you know, and unfortunately sometimes it takes that for us to get to that space instead of being able to learn from the mistakes of others.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's what's been so beautiful about our journey, being independent, being able to kind of control our schedules, and our journey has given us the freedom and the flexibility to heal on our own time without having to have the pressure of a label, or, you know, major corporations that we're tied to. So we can be authentic, so we can take the time to heal, so we can, you know, take 6 weeks off, you know, while our son is gone, you know, to visit family, to really just sit in ourselves and learn and grow and take the time, the much needed time, that a lot of people just don't get.
Yeah.
And I think we need more of that, and it's never too late. Is you know, because even in our journeys, these are things that we've been learning in adulthood. We didn't have the privilege of learning these things as young adults or as children. And I really want to encourage people to take up that space and be able to find themselves and take time for themselves when they're past the prime that the world tries to give us, that you have to do this in your 20s or do this in your 30s, and that the people in their late 40s and 50s, 60s and on up can do that as well, and start their journey of reaching their dreams and their goals, and that's a big part of why we started Let There Be Art, as well as you know, to be able to give back to people where they aren't the youngest in the world, and they don't have to be, and that should still be beautiful. That should still be valued. They should still be lovable and wanting to connect with them. And I just don't like the youth obsession that our world has given us.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially for women, I can totally relate to that sentiment. We've talked about this a lot offline, but there's a pressure to stay young, especially in our industry. The beauty industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's constantly playing up the insecurities of women and creating insecurities that shouldn't be there. I can't remember what we were looking at, but one of the people who I think they created Botox, they admitted that this term, the 11 or whatever these lines are that give you expression, that is a thing that you should not like, that we're going to remove it. Like, they had to coin the term for this thing in order to convince women that this is something that they should get in order to sell their products. And yeah, we see it, makeup, beauty, all of those things. Like, they're definitely trying to keep women feeling like they have to not only look young, but just, like you said, be young. And in our industry, feeling like the opinions of, we don't value the process and the beauty and the inevitability of getting old. Like, all of us gonna get old. The alternative is what? Death, and that ain't nobody trying to do that. So we should really embrace the fact that we get older and look at it as a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I want to get into conversations now. Conversations is a segment that we do where we take a deeper look into the lyrics of different songs. And for this first one, I want to do Time by Jade Novah, which is an amazing song. I remember, first creating that loop, and the first time I heard your lyrics and melody and the cadence over that track idea I had, I was like, yes, this is it. So yeah, I would love for you to get into your song Time and recite the lyrics and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, sure. No, it's definitely one of my favorite songs. It's from my first album, All Blue. We were living out in Los Angeles at the time, and I definitely remember writing it. I remember where I was. I was having this unnecessary existential crisis. I was 30 years old, which is a pivotal, this monumental age that, society again will make you feel like, oh, 30, oh, 40, oh, 50, these things that really don't matter because we're infinite. And that's really what the song is about. It was an existential crisis turned realization that, time is really just a construct. It went from like freaking out about the fact that, I'm comparing myself to other artists who are in their 20s. And like you said, society makes it seem like their voice and their beauty and their art is more meaningful because they're of a certain age. But in that crisis and in writing this song, realizing like what a beautiful gift that we have to learn from our mistakes, to become wiser, to embrace all that comes along with age, and that it's not a bad thing. We become better versions of ourselves with more time, if we're lucky, So the song, I'll recite a little bit of it. So when I woke up this morning, I screamed, "Oh my God, oh my God." I was freaking the hell out thinking I'm running out of time. I thought to myself, damn, I'm not 25. I need to get this before I get older. I've been thinking, the earth's still spinning. Even if I stop now, that won't stop time. Been drinking. But now I'm thinking I spent a long time feeling like this. I be like, what's time? I be like, fuck time. When I looked in the mirror, I screamed, oh my God, oh my God. So much wiser than what I was when I was just 25. I thought to myself, I'm alive. I need to live it before I get older. And then it goes on to repeat that, pre-hook about the earth spinning, and even if you stop doing what you love to do, time is still going to continue to press forward. So you can either continue with forward motion in your growth and in your gifts and in your ambitions, or you can stop, but that's not going to stop anything else from happening,
And such a beautiful song. It really is.
Thank you.
It's definitely one of my favorites. Performing it live is always great as well. So
it's one of my favorite songs, and like I said, it's a full circle song because yes, I'm someone who had this existential crisis. I mean, at 30, like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, looking back, like, I was so young. And right now, I have a mindset of I'm still so young. But at that time, because of that pressure, I felt like, oh, I've hit 30. I don't get in front of my age anymore. So, oh my gosh, But in having that realization and then getting to the point of feeling gratitude toward the fact that I am alive, and living it, and having more of a positive outlook at it. But then the song ends like it started with, I woke up this morning, screaming, oh my God, I was freaking the hell out thinking I'm running out of time. Because even though we can be in our highest self, like you mentioned, be our charged self, sometimes we go back to that space of having that crisis because, the world doesn't always mirror our growth, and we get pushed back and pulled back and drained again when we see things that are going against that positive mindset,
Yeah.
So that's really what the song is about. It's empowering, but it's also acknowledging the fact that, the world can unfortunately take you out of your higher vibration as well if you choose to consume those things. I mean, it's hard out here being a woman, being an artist, being all those things. I mean, shoot, being a man too. But I'm just speaking from this perspective of, like I said, the beauty industry and the ageism. I don't think that ageism exists as much with men as it does as women. We look at men like, oh, they're, salt and pepper beard and the Sean Connerys and Pierce Bronson and, Idris Elba's and Denzel Washington. No. I'm speaking because they were all 007. They were all, I was naming James Bond. And how James Bond was this older man and all the women that they were dealing with were like these young women. And, when you think about The Bachelor and George Clooney, like all that conversation that they have around men, it isn't the same. There's not that same negativity towards aging when you're a man as it is for a woman.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's because they understand our nature as, more masculine, with a more masculine dominating energy versus a more of a feminine dominated energy. I think I said that right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they play on the things that they know that women have more of a variety, the emotions that come with it. So yeah, we have our own things that they push on us.
Sure. No, again, that's why I said I know that there's difficulties with men, but I'm specifically speaking on this time conundrum and feeling like, oh, I've aged out. But I think that we can all relate to that as men and women when it comes to creatives.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, as creatives, we can all relate to the fact that there's this time constraint that's put on our ability to be creatives or be accepted as a creative. It's so backwards too, because society really sets you up for the it's like when you're younger, it's like you can do anything, you can be anything. Like, I want to be this, if your little 12-year-old nephew says I want to be a rapper, it's like, oh, okay, great. But then if you're a 45-year-old man talking about I want to be a rapper, you have this negative connotation about it. Like, who are you to say that this person can't pursue this thing? We look at, after you've aged out of this cute box of having dreams that go beyond the status quo, that it's like you're crazy to do that. And so, I just want to encourage everyone to say fuck time, just like the song, and to really get back to yourself and realize that being here means that you have an assignment that has yet to be complete, and that you are never too old looking, feeling, sounding, or just your age. It never should be a reflection of how much space you are allowed to take up.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Thank y'all.
So yeah, I want to get into our next segment. This is Dream and Nightmare. It wonderfully encapsulates the polarity of the industries that we're in, the entertainment industry and the music, and the highs and lows that you feel and will inevitably come in contact with in this industry of, from broken promises to dreams being let down to some of the best things that can happen, in our lives have been being a part of this industry as well. So, we'd love to talk about a dream and nightmare scenario that we've experienced or that you've experienced.
Well, I think we'll do because I feel like the theme of this episode is not just about Let There Be Art, but it's about us as a couple doing this together. So
we are Let There Be Art.
We are Let There Be
Art. So that is we.
Yes. So yeah, we can just take this whole episode to do things collectively, you and I.
Cool.
So let's think about this. A dream and a nightmare. Maybe do you want to take the nightmare and I'll take the dream, or do you want to take the dream and I'll take the nightmare?
I don't care. Whatever you come up with first, and I'll take the other one. Well, so let's go nightmare first.
Okay. Nightmare. Oh, goodness.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, let's go.
Nightmare was Moon and Pisces Tour 2022. The last show was in Atlanta. It was an amazing show. The energy was so high. We met here in Atlanta. We live in Atlanta now, and so a lot of family and friends were there. Just a great night. Had a very successful tour, and that was our last night. Gonna go and kick it, and with the crew and just relax for once. So we go over to the laptop, and I see AJ looking real worried, and he lets me know that he did not press record on the laptop. So we thinking that we recorded this whole show to be able to release the whole concert, and we did not record a thing, not one single note.
Nope, not a thing.
Ultimately, what I learned from that, this is also a part of the dream nightmare scenarios that we always want to put in perspective what we learned from that situation. But just to double check everything and have someone that's dedicated to every single job.
Especially of that, because that was the only show that we were recording the visuals for. Mm-hmm. So it was very important to make sure that everybody had that taken care of.
Yeah, so long story short, we had to end up retaping it, and
But the venue let us come back, right?
They did, but we had to move flights around. It was a lot going on.
It was a nightmare.
It was a lot.
We had to redo the makeup and then re-get the clothes because we had given it back to the stylist who was giving us issues.
Trying to rematch lighting, everything, because it was a different lighting person too.
Yep.
That we had to use. So it was a lot. So make sure you have someone doing every single job and monitoring all the different parts.
Yeah.
So let's bring the energy back up with a dream come true scenario.
Situation for us, a dream situation. I'm trying to think of something that we both experienced together. I mean, I guess everything we pretty much experienced together.
I've been here for a while with you.
A dream. You know what? I will say, okay. And again, these are just thinking of all the little victories. Dream doesn't have to be the end all be all, but it was definitely one of the situations that was full circle for both of us. I'm sure you can relate as well. So we performed Lost in You on Tamron Hall's show. Yeah. That was something that was really important to me because we both come from the live music space. You've been musical director and done plenty of TV shows and late night shows or daytime shows with other artists. Mm-hmm. And, I've done those sorts of shows supporting other artists, but that was the first time that the two of us had done daytime television for ourselves, performing our own music and doing it together. The theme of the episode was about love. Mm-hmm. Like, it was so perfect. And I just felt on top of the world being able to share that moment with you. And it was something that our families got to watch and was so proud of, because obviously, we're independent. So those sorts of things where we're actually on the same platform as major label artists is something that our family gets excited about. So, that was... No, go ahead, baby.
And I'm glad that it was on a show that was hosted by a Black woman. I thought that was really dope as well.
Period.
So shout out to Tamron Hall for all the love.
Yeah, man, she was such a light and so encouraging. Yeah, that was great.
And we're supposed to talk about how that manifested. I don't even remember. They reached out and asked us to be on it. So
yeah,
hey man, good things will come to you. Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
So we can get into our next segment, sign drop collab.
Sign drop collab. This is my favorite segment, by the way. This is like our version of F, Marry, Kill. Basically just giving your first, second, and third place choices, because a lot of times in episodes to come, there are things that are difficult to decide. Like all of them can be great or equally whatever, but you just got to make a choice. It's just forcing you to make a choice, which is something you have to do in this industry. So I think it's kind of a beautiful game to force people to play, to like just make a decision. Yeah. Stick with it and own it. It's cool. So sign, drop, collab. And again, with the theme of partnership, I believe everything is around duality with this segment today. So what we got?
So sign, drop, collab. Starting with power couples. Woo. Beyonce and Jay-Z. Will and Jada, Alicia Keys, and Swizz Beatz.
And we have to answer together, right?
I think
Or should we do them separately?
I guess we can do them separately, because this is going to be difficult to get us on the same page about some of these. I personally would sign Will and Jada. I know that there's been a lot of things that people have commented on, entanglements and all this such, but the reason I love them is their transparency and their commitment to their family and treating each other like ultimate family. Like, look, I'm here. We gonna be here. We gonna figure this thing out. Like, I love you. You are family. We're figuring this thing out. There is no perfect one size fits all or roadmap to a perfect marriage, but they're transparent, and you can tell that they ride for each other and love one another in a way that goes beyond what we look at as marriage.
Yeah, I think ours are gonna be the same. So we can do this together.
So they're your Mary.
No, sign.
Oh, not Mary. Look, I got
you got to know our game. Yeah, so I'm signing Will and Jada as well. Everything you just said, and obviously we're not going to see eye to eye on everything, but I love the open-minded perspective that they have given their kids, and how they've shown the importance of co-parenting with their oldest son, and just making it a whole family dynamic, and creating a world where the kids are definitely getting fed in all parts of themselves, no matter what we may think about some of the nuances of their choices or their lifestyle. It's been beautiful, like you said, to see their openness and their vulnerability, and again, that they're at that stage where it's not about what they can get, it's what they can give. Red Table Talk, all of it is just...
The memoirs. Both of their memoirs are fantastic, by the way.
The perspective that they're able to give, and understanding that people need that information, and to see a different way of doing things. Mm-hmm. So for collab, I'm pretty sure both of us is going to be Beyonce and Jay-Z.
That's true. Just because they're all of them, they're the ones who tend to collaborate the most together. And they have their own separate thing too, which is beautiful. But yeah, like they...
And then it's just Beyonce, man. She could be by herself, and I think she would still get collab.
Really?
Facts. Yes.
I think their dynamic is dope though. Like, just...
And so we're gonna...
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say who we're about to drop.
Oh,
you have more to say about Beyonce and Jay-Z?
No, I guess I'll move on.
Cool.
But I guess we're just dropping them.
Yeah, we're dropping Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz.
No shade, just
Yeah, it's never any shade, but you guys are dropped.
Okay, no explanation. We're just gonna drop them.
All right, so next up we have writing teams. Underdogs, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the Neptunes.
That's hard. Husband?
I know who I'm gonna drop. I'm trying to decide between the other two.
Wait, who you dropping?
I think I want to build a suspense, right?
Okay. I mean, I was just having you tell me like privately so we could decide. I don't have to cover my mouth. Oh no, absolutely not. That's crazy.
For me.
But we have to do this together. Well, I guess we didn't have to. We just.
So do yours. You can do yours first.
I don't want to do. You go first. Quickly, Devin.
I'm gonna. This one, the sign and collab are really close for me, but just on innovation and range, I'm gonna go with the Neptunes. They edge out. So I'm gonna sign the Neptunes. Mm-hmm. Just again on innovation and range over my collab, which is the Underdogs, who are probably the most influential out of this group on me personally as a producer and songwriter. I mean, I met Tank and Jay Valentine through going to their studio. Eric Dawkins, a lot of the early Chris Brown stuff. I mean, they were doing everything. James Fauntleroy, some of his first placements was working with them. My guy Mars. From 1500 to nothing, and they touched a lot of people in our era of R&B, and really had a sound, especially with Eric Dawkins and Tank and Jay Valentine writing and working with them, and I can't remember the other guy. Bluetooth was signed over there as well.
Wasn't Harvey Mason?
Harvey Mason, he is the Underdog.
Yeah,
and him and Damon.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. The Underdogs I'm gonna collab with, and then I'm gonna drop Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They just had the least impact on my life personally, just because a lot of their prime was before I was really in the music industry like that.
That's fair.
Or tapped into the music industry.
That's fair. Okay, I'll just roll with you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
No, don't just roll with me.
No.
Your own answer.
For the sake of time and energy and effort, I'm really gonna see. Sometimes, guys, when it comes to your business, sometimes you just gotta roll with your partner.
Okay, cool.
And that's what I'm doing. It's a metaphor.
All right, we have one more, right? Yes. All right, cool.
Villains and heroes.
Period.
Batman and Joker. Black Panther and Killmonger. And Tom and Jerry.
See, this is complicated for me. I'm going to tell you something, and maybe this isn't popular, or maybe it is, but Jerry is a little piece of shit. I never liked him, and I think Jerry was antagonizing Tom. First of all, he's a rat. He doesn't belong in the house.
He's not a rat. He's a mouse.
That's fine. He didn't belong in. He was not the pet. You know what I mean? Like, he was in Tom's territory. This is Tom. You know what I mean? Like, Tom is doing his job. He is a cat. Cat eat mice. And then they wanted
Who said that Tom was the villain?
And that's the thing. Which one is actually the villain? And that's kind of true of all of them. Like, which one is really the villain? Because I don't know.
It depends
Jerry was an asshole. Every episode, I wanted him to get eaten. I did. I didn't like him. So I'm dropping them just because I don't like Jerry. Jerry can kiss my ass.
Okay. You got some stuff you need to work through. You need to take some of that solitude time we were talking about and work through your Jerry trauma.
Because I just didn't like how they tried. He just did this craziest stuff to Tom put his little tail inside of stuff.
What do you mean? Tom did bad stuff to him too.
Tom would be minding his damn business, sitting there resting, laying down, enjoying something, getting ready to eat some pie or something, and then Jerry's bitch ass would come and eat the pie or burn his tail. You know what I'm talking about? Like, no, I cannot stand Jerry. We're not gonna sit here and act like Jerry is the hero. Hero of what?
I didn't say that he was. I don't really know.
Whew. We're dropping them for me.
But Jerry's still prey at the end of the day, so. Is what it is. So I'm gonna sign what are their names again?
Black Panther and Killmonger.
Oh yeah, it is just Black Panther. I was like, did he have another name? Yeah, I'm gonna sign Black Panther and Killmonger. It was the first time that I found an interesting storyline in a superhero movie in a while, because I've been watching superhero movies since before I could remember, and yeah, that was, I enjoyed Black Panther, so I'm gonna go with theirs to see a modern version of a superhero villain story. I think was really cool, and to see us in those roles, based on real life, trauma that we can all relate to on their story with their families and everything. Like I thought that was cool. And then I'm gonna collab with Batman and Joker.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. Well, the first Joker, nah, but what?
Who's the first Joker?
I don't remember what
You
his
talking
name
about
was.
the film version of Joker?
The film version of Joker?
Yeah.
The first Joker on the first movie.
Well, because there were multiple versions of it. Like,
The first.
right. That's what I'm saying. Who
So
was
what do you
it?
mean? I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't know. You talking about the Michael Keaton Batman?
The original Joker in the movies.
Like the one where he like walks in the room and it's like that scene where everybody's like, how did you not know that was the Joker, when they're in the hospital and he has on a mask? That one?
Oh no,
No.
that's the other version.
The
That's
original
Christian Bale
Joker, the
Batman,
1988,
which would be
80
Michael Keaton Batman,
whatever year that was, that Joker.
or Val Kilmer, or George Clooney, because I don't remember.
I don't know none of their names. So I'm confused right now.
Jack Nicholson.
You didn't like Jack Nicholson?
Nah,
Oh, he was great.
I'm good.
Oh, you're crazy.
It was like, and it wasn't that it was bad, but I preferred the next iteration of Joker with the Dark Knight series.
That was Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was that Joker. He did a really good job. And then there's what is it? Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know how to say his name. Thank you, girl.
Yeah.
Joaquin. I'm like Joe.
His name Joaquin.
But
That's
it's
how you
like,
pronounce
it's
it?
with a J.
Yeah, I know.
Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Yeah, he did a good job too.
That's a black name.
Yeah. Joaquin.
It's like saying Rakim with a weird Joaquin.
Joaquin. Oh, like it. Oh, Lord. I was gonna. Never mind.
We all know the accent. It's okay.
Yeah.
Joaquin.
Yes, Batman and Joker are my number one, actually.
All right, so we're dropping Tom and Jerry by default. Although I probably watch more Tom and Jerry than I have Batman.
Honorary mention to SpongeBob and Plankton. They were pretty fire.
I don't remember much of their stuff, but
What? Plankton was always trying to get the secret Krabby Patty recipe.
I saw, wasn't it him and Mr. Krabs?
No, he wanted the recipe. Oh, I guess it was Mr. Crab, kind of. But SpongeBob was the one who was.
It was Plankton and Mr. Krabs because it was the chum bucket in the
Right.
in the
It was
Krusty
just about
Krab.
it, yeah.
So yeah.
But I feel like, wasn't he always trying to manipulate SpongeBob to get
That's
the
different.
recipe?
He was the decoy. Like he used
Right,
to use
like,
SpongeBob,
he's just like-
but his enemy was Mr. Krabs.
More you know. I guess that makes sense. They had those.
That's all the Sign Drop collabs, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you, Kalia.
All right, so we're gonna get into our next segment, Gem of the Week. So this is where we highlight an independent creator, entrepreneur, documentary, film, anything.
Yep.
So with this one in the theme of duos, I want to do Shan Boodram and Jared Brady. Our friends and an amazing couple, two people that we've learned so much with. We've been able to tour with Jared, who opened up for you on the Moon and Pisces tour, and met Shan years ago on BET Wrap It Up.
Panel, yeah.
So yeah, just love what they've been able to do together and what they're building. Their
Shared.
yeah, their company, Share It Entertainment, and then just raising their kids and being another giving couple where they're giving back to the people and sharing so much information, and we've learned so much from the both of them. So shout out to Shan and Jared.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I love them. Hey guys, we're finally doing it. Actually, it's so funny because we told them years ago. They were the first people that we said that one day we want to do a podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to y'all.
Facts. So we're gonna get into our last segment of the episode. This is Let There Be ... manifestation. So what do we want to manifest as the gods and goddesses of our lives? Let there be what? What are we manifesting? What do you want to manifest? Whether that's in the short term, long term, anything, just something you want to put your time, energy, and attention into that we can manifest together.
I think let there be an amazing podcast. This is our first episode, and I really believe in what we're doing, what we're building, what we have built, what we have to say. This is the first episode of many, many successful episodes, and we're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to teach and learn and question and just be curious. And so, yeah, I really want to manifest just a great run with this podcast because it's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. And I'm just really excited for you because, I've been more of the public facing dynamic, entity within our company, but you have so much to say and so much perspective and insight in how to build successful creator businesses and just a good person. And you're nice to look at too. Like, isn't he just a handsome guy?
Why, thank you.
I'm just really excited for this and manifesting an amazing podcast.
Ashe, I definitely received that. And I'm going to go, let there be a charged life. Just filling ourselves up, and not just us, but our listeners, and being able to make the day-to-day little decisions that just move us closer to being charged and full versus going towards a drained life. So from everything from our health and our wellness, eating more fruits, our self-care routines, our communication and our relationships, healing old traumas, all the things. Again, health is so holistic, and we've seen the results of healing ourselves and how that shows up in our lives, in our careers. So that's mine. Charged life. We got to manifest it.
Oh yeah, we doing it.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Let There Be Art podcast. I'm your host, Devin Mykel.
I'm Jade Novah. We're going to get more into our story and just, letting you know why we started this.
Yeah, because it's been a journey, y'all. So definitely tune in to the next episode, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.